to TSB Means Business, a program brought to you by the Savings Bank. My name's Allie Houghton, and I'll be your host of today's program. Today joining me is Bob DeBella, CEO and President of the Savings Bank, Pete Johnston, Senior VP and Senior Commercial Banking Officer, and Nick Kafalis, VP Commercial Banking. Thank you for all joining me.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Bob, we'll start with you. Can you tell me a little bit about the history of the bank?
Sure. The Wakefield Savings Bank was chartered, and the main office was established in May of 1869. And we opened our first branch office at Greenwood in 1975. And then in 1989, we had a name change from Wakefield Savings Bank to the Savings Bank. And also in 2005, we opened up our wealth management office of First Financial Trust.
And what's your history been over the years?
Well, I've been with the bank for almost 32 years now. I started out as accounting manager in 1987, and through the years I've held positions of controller, treasurer, chief operating officer, and upon Brian McCoubrey's retirement in 2016, I was named president and CEO.
Do you have a favorite role out of all of them?
I like this one. I like this one.
And what's some of the big changes that you've seen come to not only just the savings bank, but the banking industry overall?
I think it has to be the innovation we've seen the last few years. When you look back at it, we opened our first ATM in 1986. And then 20 years later, we started offering online banking. And now today, everybody's banking on their mobile phone or their tablets. They're making deposits with their phone. They're checking balances, transfers. They're even applying for loans. So it's really changed the way people are banking today.
And when people say TSB is a community bank, how would you describe that? What does that mean to you?
I think Pete and Nick would agree that it all comes down to relationships. And as a local bank and one that's where local decisions are made, we're able to be a little bit more responsive and flexible with our clients' needs. Being the size that we are, we can develop more personal relationships with our clients. And I think that makes a big difference in serving the client's needs.
Why do you think that community involvement is important to the bank and the employees?
Well, I mean, a successful community means everything to us. And when the community does well, their residents do well, the small businesses do well. Many of our employees not only work in these communities, but they live in the communities. And our employees devote a tremendous amount of time to participating in local events and community organizations. They serve on charitable boards, so it's important to them that the community succeed as well.
What do you feel is the biggest difference between the smaller community banks and the bigger banks?
Well, for the most part, we all offer the same products and services, but when you're dealing with a community bank, you're dealing with someone that knows the local community, supports the local community, and if you have a problem or a question arises, you're able to talk to somebody that knows you and that can help you and solve your problem. So I think that's the biggest difference.
Pete, could you tell us a little bit about your role and your team in commercial banking at the Savings Bank?
Sure, Ellie. So our role is really a consultative one. And we like to take the time to get to know what a customer's need might be so that we can address it. I think, as Bob said, we all offer the same products and services. At different costs, but we all offer the same things. And I think the difference between what we can offer versus what some others can offer is the fact that we are local. We make our decisions locally. That's a really important part of who we are.
Nick, how do you feel commercial banking has changed over the years?
I feel that the banking industry has become more competitive with non-banks becoming involved in commercial banking. One of the major changes we've seen over the last couple of years is heavy reliance on compliance, electronic banking. Those have been issues that we are confronted with on a daily basis and we have to address.
Do you feel those, how do you feel those harm commercial banking?
I think the biggest challenge we face is with our competitors. You're seeing a lot of non-bankers, banks getting involved into the commercial banking industry. And we have to compete with them. And when we do that, it makes it more challenging for us.
Pete, as a community banker, what are things that you can do to help small businesses?
I think, Ellie, that at the Savings Bank, the commercial banking team is comprised of people who have a lot of experience. And some of it has been here at the Savings Bank, and some of it has been in other venues of employment. But what I think it's brought to the table is the fact that that experience means that there's not too many kinds of deals that we have not seen and had experience with. So when someone brings a request to us, it's usually not something that stumps us. It's usually something we've seen before. We know how to handle it. One of our lenders actually owned a small business himself for 15 years. And, so I think that because of that and because of our community banking backgrounds, we're uniquely qualified to address those local needs. A community bank, size-wise, is not dissimilar from small businesses.
Do you feel, as a community bank, do you feel that we are more equipped to help small businesses with maybe some of the problems that they're facing nowadays?
I don't know that we're more equipped, but I think we're certainly equipped. Again, I think the difference in a small community bank or just a community bank in general is that we take these things personally. We view them personally. Our customers, they become our friends to some degree. I mean, it's always business, but at the same time, if you can help someone, if you can drive around and see a property that you financed or a business that you helped to grow or diversify, that's powerful.
It comes down to like the personal relationship that you develop with those customers.
Absolutely.
Because it is a community, and we've been around for so long that a lot of these relationships keep coming back, and that's the important thing of developing that relationship going forward.
And I think, Bob, that they keep coming back because they regard us as trusted advisors.
Right.
I love to tell a customer that, as a small business owner, that they have kind of an unofficial board of directors beyond the one that goes to the Secretary of State's. And that includes their attorney and their accountant and their insurance broker, but it should also include their banker. And that might be their branch manager. It could be someone in our cash management area, or it could be one of us or our colleagues, our support staff members that help us. Without them, we couldn't do what we do.
Bob, so could you share with us a little bit about why 2019 is going to be such a big year for the Savings Bank?
2019 is a big year, and it's, as I mentioned earlier, we were chartered in May of 1869. So on May 26, 2019 is our 150th birthday as a mutual community savings bank. And we've got a lot of big plans for the celebration, both for customers and the community, but for the employees and boards as well. So we're looking forward to it.
So Nick, you've been involved with the 150th Planning Committee. What are some of the activities that people could look forward to this year?
We are very excited to be hosting a 150th anniversary of the bank. We have scheduled June 22nd at the Wakefield Commons. We'll have a family day planned out, whereas Ayla Brown will be our headliner, and we'll have some local entertainment as well.
So basically a big birthday celebration on that day.
Yes, it's going to be a big day for the whole bank and the community as a whole.
It's a great way to thank the community.
Will there be cake?
Oh, hopefully,
I hope there's
birthday celebration, there'll be cake.
We love birthday celebrations.
Yes, but I think that's a great way to just basically say thank you to all the communities that have been a part
give back
of
to the community that's been
the
so
150
supportive of the
years.
bank.
Yes. Now, for all of you, is there something that you hope to see down the road in banking, in the future banking? What would you like to see change or be implemented, or just anything different with banking?
I think for me, it's the fact that I'd like to see community banks survive. There's been so much merger and acquisition activity over the last few decades. Most of that, the big banks taking out the smaller community banks. When you look back, 20 years ago, there were over 10,000 banks in the United States, and now, today, that's down to about 5,500. And so I think, for me, the number one priority is survival of the community banking industry and banks like the Savings Bank that can support the local communities. A lot of towns have lost that community touch, and I think it's important. So.
I echo that. I think technology being brought to bear, as Bob was talking about earlier, with people banking from their mobile device and their tablets and their PCs and laptops. We need to, as bankers and community bankers in particular, we need to stay on that technology train and continue to innovate. We're able to do that through vendor relationships and strategic partnerships that we have. But what I really want to see survive is that human touch that allows us to really have relationships with our customers.
Yes, I would piggyback off of that. I think we need to focus on what our community involvement is and continue to work with that and stay one step ahead of our competition and to let the people know that, yeah, we are here to give back to the community.
It's that community touch that, because what you mentioned is, the continued innovation, but that makes it almost a little bit harder to keep in touch when that personal touch. But that's where I think the community bank can make a difference, because they are constantly involved in the community, constantly supporting it. Their employees are donating their time and efforts to community events, and that's what's going to keep that personal touch going for us, I think.
I agree. Yeah, completely.
Yeah. No, Bob, you mentioned the community aspect. Over the years, do you have a favorite project or something that you were involved in the community that really meant a lot to you?
Well, I mean, stuff like we just did most recently with the Tall Spire School. I mean, we had some empty space available, and we have some plans for the building that we bought on Chestnut Street, but they're not close enough to have done any work on it yet. So it's items like that where the bank can make the contribution and let the school use the space. We stopped by there to see the kids. It was a great day to see the kids, and they sang us a song. It was really something special. So it's items like that where, as a community mutual bank, we don't have stockholders that we have to report earnings or anything to. We want to make a profit, but, we don't have those constraints that other stock banks do.
Yeah. Pete and Nick, would you say that you have a favorite aspect of, working for that community bank other than that personal kind of relationship that you have with your customers?
Yeah, I would say on a personal level, I like to see when a company comes to me and is looking for startup money, and comes in with a business plan, and we sit down and we go over that business plan, and we see how that develops over time. In 2-3 years into the business plan, the company starts to be successful. It's a satisfying feeling for me and the customer and the bank as a whole. So I take that on a personal level and to try to make the connection with the business owner and helping them to succeed.
Allie, your question was, other than the personal touch, I don't know how to answer that question without the personal touch, because I really think that's vital to what we do. I think that, I've got some customers that, despite my baby face, I've been banking for a number of years, and I've seen them evolve in their businesses, and some of them have diversified their businesses. Some of them have taken their winnings from their businesses and become real estate investors while never forgetting about their main business. And so I don't know how you separate or compartmentalize the personal aspect of what we do from just the banking aspect. The challenge I think we're going to face is just the regulatory environment's not getting any easier. Compliance is key and important, and I think it's really important that we're able to measure those things that could cause problems for us. But at the end of the day, serving the customer is where it's at. I mean, that's one of the things that I love most about my job.
Well, I think also, for people banking with you, when your name is known and you're not just a number, I think that makes a huge difference for people.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
would agree with that.
They,
I hope so.
yes.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I think you are.
Anything you'd like to add in closing?
I'd just say that, if anybody is in need of any financial services on the retail side or the commercial side, both Pete and Nick are here. We also have our wealth management division, First Financial Trust, and we're always happy to help. And please join us for the 150th celebration. There's going to be a great time in June, so please join us.
Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Al.
Allie.
And
Thanks, Allie.
thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next month with an all-new program.